We've looked at the effects of a magnetic field on a current-carrying wire that's straight, but what if we have a little more complicated shape here? What if we have, say, a loop of wire instead? Now, I think this one is actually a little bit more complicated. I think the loop is wrapped around the ring here. But let's say that inside here we just have wires going around in a circle like this, and that we have current going in the direction of the arrows here. So that'd be in the clockwise direction all the way through. And we're going to put this, this coil of wire that has a current acting on it, or running through it rather, we're going to have it in this area where there's a magnetic field that's pointing out away from the screen here, or out toward you. And so we want to know what effect that's going to have on this current carrying wire that's in this loop shape. I'm also going to orient this not straight up and down, but I'm actually going to rotate it a little bit so that the side on the right here is a little bit closer to you and the side on the left is a little farther away. And I don't count on my, my drawing ability to be able to show that very well, so I figured I'd better have something real to show you. So if we kind of try and sketch that here, we'll see just kind of an oblong circle where our current is flowing this direction. And then this part is the front, and this part is the back of that loop. So again, it's oriented in this direction. So from flat, the right side rotates towards you, the left side rotates away from you. So we want to know what forces are acting on this side, on this loop of wire at each point in space. And so to figure this out, we need to use the right-hand rule to figure out direction of forces. So the right-hand rule says your index finger goes in the direction of the charge movement, and we'll say the positive charge movement is going around clockwise here. So at this location, we'll look at the very top first. I've got my pointer finger going in this direction, tangent to that circle. I need my middle finger pointing out away from the screen here. The magnetic field is going in this way, toward the camera, toward you. So my middle finger points in that direction. Sorry, my index finger points in this direction, just straight across. My middle finger I need to point out toward you, and my thumb is going to point down, and that's going to be toward the center of the circle. So up top here, we're going to have a force like this, straight down. Okay, now we'll look down here. At this point, I've got my current is going downward, and my my voltage, or sorry, not my voltage, but my magnetic field is still pointing out. So I'm going to have my fingers oriented like this. Okay, so middle finger down, index finger down, middle finger is out in this direction. And so my force is pointing straight this way, not toward the center of the circle, but out in front of that circle a little bit, out this way. So we're a little bit in front of the circle when that force vector comes out. So we have this force vector that's this way. As we go down a little bit further, so this is straight in this direction, not into the board and not out of the board, but straight this direction. When we go down to the bottom here, my right-hand rule says middle finger. I keep saying middle, and I mean index. Index finger in the direction of the charge movement. Middle finger is in the direction of magnetic field, so if I turn around here, middle finger is out like this. So there we go. And so my magnetic field is going to cause a force upward in this case. And so we draw that force upward. Okay. And then the last spot here, I've got my charge moving. Charge is moving in this direction. My magnetic field is pointing in this direction toward the camera, so my magnetic force is pointing straight to the right in this case. Again, not into the board and not out of the board, but straight to the right. Okay, so again, index finger up, middle finger is out, and thumb is straight that way. So now I have this this system where I have a force straight this direction and a force straight this direction on these parts of the coil that are not in line with each other. Now the top and bottom force, there's a force down, and there's a force up. Those are in a straight line with each other, so those will just balance each other out. These ones will balance each other out, but they're going to cause a net torque that makes this ring rotate in this direction, and it turns out it'll rotate until it lines up so that it's flat with the board here. So it started out like this, there we go, with this being behind this part. And it's going to have this net force. I'm pushing this way on this side, and I'm pushing straight this way on this side, so it's going to cause this twisting motion. And it's going to twist until it lines up in this orientation. So it's going to go almost all the way around, or I guess almost halfway around, almost 180 degrees, until it gets to that orientation. So what we find is that there's a certain orientation that rings or loops of current-carrying wire want to be at in this magnetic field. And if they're not in that orientation, then they're going to rotate, not translate from place to place, just rotate in space until they line up with that field. Now, if I get to that point, so I would have my thing turned around this direction, so my current now is flowing in this way. And analyzing that again with the right-hand rule, you'd find that all your forces at that point do cancel out. And so at that point, our ring is in equilibrium. So I'll leave that as an exercise for you.